Welcome everyone. We want to discuss manual material handling, not regarding the equipments or tools used in manual material handling, rather the ergonomic aspect, how the human uh, are doing manual material handling. There are many ways for manual material handling, and there are many industries where it is very common. For example, in warehouse, in transport, in agriculture, in construction, many industries where persons are doing manual material handling, lifting, lowering, pushing, pulling. There are many kind of tasks which person is carrying with their different methods of doing it. Someone is keeping the load on the head, someone is keeping the load in the lap, someone is keeping the load on the back, someone is just pushing the load on the trolley, someone is pulling the bag on the floor, someone is pulling the bag which is placed on the pallet and then pulling. So there are many ways of doing manual material handling. In all the ways, the stability is important. For example, the person is carrying a heavy weight on the back. When you see them, they are generally running instead of walking, because to keep the balance they have to run. Just like as we are doing a cycling, we cannot do cycling below then a specific value of the speed, because we have to keep a balance, otherwise we will fall down. The same thing happens in manual material handling too. So there are many factors which are important, like center of gravity. We should not have the center of gravity away from our body or away from the we can say the span between our legs. Otherwise, there are chances that we may fall down. Literature shows that the low back pain is the most prevalent and costly risk of workplace injuries. These are two studies. One say that the risk of back pain in workers who lifted 25 kgs of weight more than 15 times per day is very high. So low back pain is the key point to be taken care of in manual material handling. So I will talk mostly on this topic today. Another study, they found that even low back pain is a symptom when the person is lifting 3 kgs, but the frequency is high. Sometimes it is also found that, which is very interesting, that low back symptoms were even more common when the person is doing lifting task rarely. The person is appointed for some other task or rarely he has to lift. So there are chances of getting a symptom of low back pain because the muscles are not tuned to do the task. For the analysis of manual material handling or for evaluating the manual material handling, there are three basic approaches. One is biomechanical approach, other is physiological approach, the third one is called a psychophysical approach. Each approach has its own significance. The first one, biomechanical approach, says that when a person is lifting a load, then the person needs a kind of stability, and the stability is based on the center of gravity of the person and the weight of the load. So now this distance between weight and the load plays an important role from the center of gravity of the person. If this distance is less, it means the stability is more. If this distance is more, then it means the stability is less, because the reason is that in that case we require more momentum for maintaining the stability. So this momentum requirement will be more if the distance is more. So that is the kind of biomechanical approach in which we can evaluate the reaction torque on each of the body joint, supposing that the whole body is a mechanism of different links and joints. Second is physiological approach, in which we either evaluate VO2, oxygen intake, exhaling and inhaling capacity of the person. Depending upon the capacity of the person, we can design the work rest period. There are certain approaches by which we can calculate the duration of the work and evaluation of the risk depending upon the maximum capacity of the lungs and the requirement of the task. Third is psychophysical approach, which is very important in manual material handling, where the perception plays an important role. Perception of the workers, that how much load they can lift, what should be the load the person can handle. So that is very important, in which we try to find out the acceptability of the load. The center of all these is low back pain at the back, which is very important phenomena which we have to control. That can only be controlled by. So low back pain is the main point of concern for most of the ergonomists for controlling the manual material handling task, and the role of the ergonomist for designing the workplace or the task. When we talk about low back pain, the main region which is affected is this portion. So we generally prefer lumbar lordosis posture instead of kyphotic posture. Low back pain, we have to keep all the weights, whatever the person is handling, closer to the spine. So these are two basic points, L4, L5 and L5S1, where the stresses are developed, and these are main prone to the injuries. So if there is any kind of herniation or degeneration or slip disc, that is going to compress the spinal cord, which results in pain, sprain and other disorders of weakness in motor activities of the human. There are three basic ways as per the studies of Grieve and Feasant in which trunk can fail. Either muscle or ligament of the back can fail, or intervertebral disc may herniate, dislocate or extrude under excessive compression due to the continuous exposure to load-bearing task in bad postures. Or abdominal content may be extruded through the abdominal cavity. So these are three basic ways in which trunk can fail or create a low back injury. Now there are some prevention methods. One is the most common approach in most industries is to train to live. Training is an important factor. Sometimes studies contradict on this issue, but it is very well recommended that if you provide the methods for safe lifting to the workers, it is going to give a positive result in reducing the risk of injuries. It is safe to lift with knees rather than with back. If we take the example, compared to lifting with back is better than lifting with knees, because in case of knees, the load is closer to the grip. In this case, stress is more here. In this case, stress is more here. So these are points here. Some studies do contradict that if you are lifting with knees, by bending knees, you are going to harm knees, you are going to put more pressure on heart, you are going to increase the risk of heart pressure increase. But in case of lifting by bending back, you are going to increase the pressure of herniation of the discs or dislocation. So both have different kind of risks involved, but most of the studies believe that this risk is more than this risk. In this case, this was the way. Next is selection and training, job design, work design. For example, in designing the job, we can keep the load in between shoulder and knees. It should not be above the shoulder, it should not be below the knees. So that way you can design the job. The width of the unit which is being lifted can be controlled so that it can be closer to the body. There can be couplings or cutouts which may be closer to the body so that the person can lift safely. Then this is a kind of what we can say psychophysical approach, where acceptability of the load plays an important role. Most of the workers, if they are asked to regulate the weight and to give us the feedback that which load, which amount they can lift comfortably throughout the working duration, then it would be easy to reduce the risk of injuries. Even compared to providing the training, compared to providing the job design, it is very, very important thing in manual material handling. So this was one of the example I've already discussed. There are certain tentative guidelines which we see over here. Maintain normal lumbar lordosis and use the hip joint to flex the trunk. If we are lifting the load by bending our back, then most of the flexor extensor muscles plays an important role in controlling the body requirement of the reaction movement. But in that case, we say that if you involve gluteal muscles or you involve the hip joint, then you are going to reduce the pressure on the spine. Then do not lift immediately after the prolonged flexion. Obviously, if your muscles are not warmed up, if your muscles are not tuned to some kind of working, or blood supply is restricted because of the prolonged flexion or prolonged static posture, then it may harm body. Maybe there may be the rupture of tissues or some kind of soft tissue injuries. So it is advisable to avoid immediately after prolonged flexion or immediately after rising from the bed. Follow the pre-stress system so that you can stabilize the muscles, you can tone up the muscles, and then you can do your lifting task. Choose a posture which minimizes the load moment on the lumbar spine, but do not compromise with the lumbar lordosis posture of the spine. We have to keep spine like this. We should not keep the spine like this. So this way, this had not to be compromised. So we have to see that. Even we see the weightlifters, which is not an occupational task, but weightlifters bend their knees and they lift, but they do not compromise on the shape of the back. And even they use abdominal belts to make a feeling that their back is safe. Their back is properly compressed by the abdominal belt. It has a support, so there may not be an immediate jerk on the spine. Avoid twisting on either side because twisting provides an extra risk of injuries. Exploit the acceleration profile of the load. Means, suppose you are unloading boxes from an assembly line over the pallet and you are making a pile up of the boxes. So in that case, we can take an advantage of the acceleration profile. We can keep lowering the task. If we are using belt, then there are certain benefits and there are certain disadvantages. One of the benefit is that it provides a kind of feeling that you have a support. It provides a kind of consciousness that you are doing a lifting task. That gives the extra support to your spinal muscle, your trunk muscles. So that is an advantage. But in the same way, it gives some kind of psychological disadvantage that you can lift more weight, as the weightlifters do. They feel that if they are having a abdominal belt taken, if it is used for prolonged hours, prolonged period, then it is creating a pressure or some kind of constriction of the blood flow, and that may harm in some other ways. So there are some kind of job risk, weight of the object, location with respect to the worker, whether it is far away or close to the body, it is over the shoulder or below the knees, frequency of lift, how many times the person has to lift a job. We see the example of a supplier of cylinders or water coolers to different home delivery. For in that case, the person is doing a task of lifting and lowering of 25 kgs or 30 kgs load at a very high frequency for 15 hours or 48 hours job. So it is going to be more than 15 per day. So in that way, these persons are very much at the risk of lower back pain. And in their kind of task, the twisting is also a kind of extra stressor. Hand coupling, if coupling is not proper, that may increase the risk of slip, trip or falls. Workplace geometry, environmental factors. If it is a hot environment, the job is difficult to do. If it is a cold environment, the muscle tune up or warm up is a requirement. So there are different issues with respect to the environmental factors as well. There are some other factors which are person concerned, for example, gender. If we design the same load for both the genders, it may not be comfortable for both male or female. Age is a factor because degeneration occurs in bones and that leads to some kind of inability to do the task as the younger person can do. So the same thing, same load cannot be lifted by all the age people. Anthropometry plays an important role. If the person is obese, then the load will be far away from his spine. If the person is thin, the person needs a different kind of balancing. So the requirement of the load as per the anthropometry of the person may be different. Lifting techniques, for example, bending knees or bending back. Either it is a stoop posture or it is a squat posture. So squat posture has a risk of knees and stoop posture has a risk of back. Attitude. Sometimes we are in a good attitude, we can lift more. If we are in a bad attitude, we don't want to lift. So that plays an important role in occupational task because where we have to perform the same thing for lot many times in our working hour. Strength. If the person has good strength, he can lift more. If the person is weak, he cannot lift more. So we have to take care of these things. Training. Training plays an important role in lifting the task. It is very important. The workers who are doing the job in warehouses, the workers who are doing the job in transport, lifting and lowering from the truck or lorry or from train, wagons, or for agriculture workers, for construction workers, you can see different kind of odd postures in which the persons are working. They are not trained. They are not knowing the better ways for saving their body or their working. Task related factors which are responsible for the stress, the load, distance, twist of the trunk, lift or lower the object placed below the knees or above the shoulder creates more stress. Lift or move the load through large vertical or horizontal distances. We are just categorizing into the task related factors. Most of them we had already discussed. Hold or carry the load for longer periods. Lift or carry, having to lift while seated. There are certain general principles for controlling the hazards in the workplace. Avoid hazardous or manual handling as much as possible. For example, if it is a hot pot for cooking for marriages and for large functions, we have to see how we can lift those waves or pans or big things, big items in which a quite heavy quantity of food is being cooked. Hazardous operations, redesign the task to obtain the need to move the load, automate or mechanize. We can have, instead of lifting by the collar of the wave or the pan, we can have a kind of tools with long handles so that we can lift it properly. Reduce the risk by providing mechanical, assistive or redesign the task. This is the case when we see kind of some spring-loaded cranes or small vacuum-based lifting tools which are available in industry which helps in lifting a big load, and that can be transported from one location to the other location. So there can be which help in transporting or shifting the load. How to minimize the weight to be handled. So task, job, personal factors and the weight to be handled. So how we can minimize weight to be handled? Assign the job to more than one person. Two persons can do the same job. If it is suppose a long sofa, so two persons can hold that. Use the smaller containers instead of the bigger containers. The size, unit size, length, breadth, height of the boxes plays an important role. If possible, mechanize the process. You can have a kind of pallets with the wheels over which you can shift the load. You can have a spring-loaded cranes. Machines rather than employees should transfer the load between two surfaces. Possible if in some cases somewhere we can have kind of height adjustable tables are available. Change the job. This is very important. Change the job if possible, lifting to lowering, lowering to carrying, carrying to pulling, and pulling to pushing. So this is the sequence of job. Rather than lifting, you can design to lowering. You can have a platform with different options. If option is available, instead of lowering, you can carry it. If instead of carrying, you can have a pulling operation. Instead of pulling, if you can have a pushing, that would be rather easy. Use handles, hooks. It is mainly concerned about the couplings which we can have over the load or the unit which is to be handled. So this is now reduce the weight of the container used to transfer the object. Balance or stabilize the contents of the container to avoid sudden shift in load during the lift. So in the container, it should be packedly filled. There should not be loose spaces so that there could be problem of imbalance of the load. Design the containers so that they can be held close to the body. Their cutout should be closer to the body, thickness should be less, like that. Treat the work surface to allow the ease of the movement. There should not be a kind of possibility of slipping, and there should be sufficient stability over the floor. How to minimize reach and lift distances? Very simple ways. Increase height at which lift is initiated. Decrease height at which lift is terminated. So destination has to be lower and origin has to be higher. Stuck object no higher than the shoulder height. Store heavy components in shelves between shoulder and knuckle height. Avoid deep shelves so that we should not go inside the shelves or aisles. Avoid side lifting so that you can avoid the twisting. Store bins or containers should be fitted with spring-loaded buttons so that the load can be transferred to the required position. Use sloped surfaces for gravity feeding. You can take the advantage of gravity. Even in shifting by hand, you can take the advantage of gravity. Provide free spaces around the work surface so that you will be comfortable to move around with the load. How to increase the time available for providing the relaxing. The standard time for the job, there should be proper breaks, reduce the frequency of lift, introduce the job rotation among the different workers. Then you are doing the job, after some time the other person will do and you can take a break and come back. Introduce appropriate work rest cycle. You can design it based on physiological approach where you can take the advantage of the response in either in heart rate or in oxygen capacity of the requirement of the job. So this was all around the lifting task mainly, but in general for manual material handling. From this discussion, we are reaching to the point where we have to design the recommended weight limit. That recommended weight limit is already has a proper procedure based on National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, that is called as NIOSH lifting equation. So in the next lecture, we will see how a particular kind of lifting task can be optimized for the recommended weight limits. So first of all, in NIOSH lifting equation, the one thing is it cannot be applied in all places. It can apply for a specific kind of lifting task. Till then, bye bye.